folks, welcome to Superhero Roundup here on SourceFedNERD. I'm Matt Lieberman.
I'm Trisha Hirschberger.
I'm Sam Basher.
I'm DJ Wolders.
I like how you boys both nodded at me. Like, go ahead. Your turn.
So if you haven't seen this show before, it is the show here on SourceFedNERD where we talk about all the superhero series on television. We're going to be talking about Gotham, The Flash, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Constantine over at NBC. And then we're also going to be giving DJ's comic picks, his pull list for the week. Yes, exciting. What, do you forget to do comics? You want me to say it without that?
We'll see. We'll see how the.
He's gonna put together a pull list as we're talking about the show.
Check out The Flash and Spider-Man.
And comics book.
Yeah.
Comics book was
we'll
real
all
good.
just tell you the one comics book that we're each reading, and that'll be your pull
there we
list
go.
for.
And I think this week we're going to start with Constantine and with Trisha because you haven't caught up yet.
Yeah, I haven't caught up on Constantine, so I'm gonna bow out.
We're going to talk Constantine, then you'll come back for Gotham.
Yeah.
And then
And
next
I
week.
will peace out. You can take my place.
But next week you'll.
Next week I will be ready for S.H.I.E.L.D. as
Agents of
well.
Okay, because
So that'll be
S.H.I.E.L.D.'s
cool.
so good this
There's
week.
so much to talk about.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Spoiler alert.
I
Okay.
won't talk.
So this week we had another episode of Constantine.
Constantine.
What did we think?
I liked it. Not as good as last week's episode because Papa Midnight was,
Yeah.
but the friend was
that
interesting.
Did you just kiss a butthole? Was
Well,
that what that was?
I wasn't trying to.
Okay.
But he was really good. No, and I loved it, and I liked because you guys talked about like how dark Constantine could be, and this kind of showed it.
Oh, yeah.
Even though people are like it's dumbed down or watered down.
Mostly me.
Watered
Mostly
down.
me. I still think it was a little bit nicer.
Well, because you're used to the comics where it's super dark and evil and gritty.
Here's the thing: for network TV, you
Yeah.
need to be able to root for your protagonist, I guess, all the time.
Yeah.
And they did a real. Constantine ends the episode with doing a real shitty thing.
Yes, it does.
But
Real
they
shitty
make
thing.
it. They take the teeth off of it as much as they possibly can.
You know what? I wholeheartedly agree with you
Yeah.
because the entire time I saw it coming, I
Yeah.
was like, he's a shitty character. This is what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
And I thought the choice that they went with at the end to like hold the hand and try to make it like,
Yeah.
nah, but I'm
Angel
still
shows
good.
up.
I don't know how I
make
felt
it-
about
What was
it.
the guy's name again? What was the
Gary.
Gary.
Druggy friend?
Constantine's old shit friend Gary shows up, and Gary's real useless, and he's an addict. He's a heroin
He's
addict.
super useless.
And then,
But he had heart. He tried. He wanted to redeem himself. It's not his fault. He's an addict and was born with lots of money.
He unintentionally
dumbass.
released this real bad news Nemeth. I think Nemeth is the Nemeth.
The Hunger
There's a
Demon.
silent
The Hunger Demon.
K in the
He releases
beginning.
a Hunger Demon. It kills a whole bunch of people in a real not friendly fashion. He makes them eat themselves to death, and then he sucks them up, and then he moves on, and he's a bunch of beetles.
It's a bunch of bugs.
And then the only way Constantine can resolve it, he is told by a shaman that awakens him spiritually in a real creepy fashion,
Which is so cool.
is to trap the demon in another person, and of course it ends up being Gary. But the way Constantine does it is he convinces Gary, you're doing a real good thing, and Gary's like, yeah, this is the best way for me to go out. And
Like, I'm gonna atone for the bad things I did by doing this.
yeah,
by being an
to
addict.
be fair, Constantine really stacks the deck against him. He's like, hey, it's just you and me. And it's
He
not
does
really
it,
gonna be
yeah, and
me.
he's like, it's-
but I mean, we could draw straws, but we all know you're
When
not.
he
we're
says
not
it's
gonna.
you and me, it feels like and who's more valuable here, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I like though, because that's what I thought the character was supposed to be.
Yeah, when you get down
Yeah.
to the brass tacks of it, it is still a real shitty thing. But the way
Yeah.
it's presented to the audience is that Gary thinks he's doing a really great thing, and he feels real good about the decision, and it just felt
It
a
is
little
his
like,
decision. He's the one who gives it the go
Yeah.
at the end. And let's talk about the eyeball.
That was
for a
so cool.
second.
Yeah.
The whole psychedelic scene, I thought that was very well done, and
Which-
I liked what the shaman did.
Yeah, which I have not read the first issue of Hellblazer, but apparently this episode is a watered down version of the first issue of Constantine's own comic. And the
Nice.
whole eyeball thing is straight from the comic, which was
Nice.
cool. More of that, please.
That was so cool. I
It
got
was-
that stuff
real
on the show.
cringy.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to watch this, which I do frequently, but then I peaked anyway. It was okay.
I love the bit where Constantine's like, wait, this is supposed to last forever?
Yeah.
So how are we supposed to know to take the antidote? And the shaman just laughs because he's already high as shit.
Yeah.
He's already gone.
He's like, I got you.
Yeah, it's all right.
I wish they went back to the guys because he gave some of those guys the psychedelics. didn't
Oh
he?
yeah, that was messed up too.
I wish I would have
thought-
seen what would have happened to
I thought
them.
they were going to bring that back by giving it to Gary to help Gary through. I was fine with Constantine holding Gary's hand at the end. I feel like that could have been the one positive moment out of it. Like he basically forces Gary to take on the demon, but then he still sits through his friends.
I feel like that is the positive. Is he's still there with them, even though he's going through it. But then then Manny shows up and is all like.
That was actually.
But he stays with him, right? He like kneels down.
Yeah, remember Manny shows up when people died, like when the old man died in the record episode.
I was kind of hoping Manny would show up and just like take away his pain.
I thought that was
but
gonna
he
happen.
didn't.
No.
But it was a real interesting the way you've got Gary there on the bed and you've got Constantine on the one side and you got Manny on the other side. It was just a real network shows, because they have to be cranked out so quickly. They rarely have like personality, like there's which is something that's kind of plagued S.H.I.E.L.D. a lot. That was it had a little bit, some intention went into it, and I like that. I did not, however, need the demon to like do the reverse crab walk thing.
That was fun.
Yeah,
I like when they throw old demon cliches in there. It's
I was
fun.
like, oh, every exorcism movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but overall, what did we think of the episode?
Good. It's heading in a good direction. It's better than the first, and it's better than the second episode. This is episode 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
3 and 4 were great. I'm excited for where the season goes.
Yep. Next week's Jim Corrigan. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I like this episode because it was, to me at least, it felt a lot darker than anything we've seen yet. And I think if you're going to stay true to the heart of Constantine, who that is in the comics, you have to go dark.
Yep. Next week, Papa Midnight comes back. Jim Corrigan. Really excited for that.
Bringing him back.
Yeah.
Make him a regular.
Papa Midnight,
Papa
guys.
Midnight. I was really dumb. Bummed that the shaman he went to wasn't Papa Midnight. I thought that would have been a great. I thought that would have
But
made
if
sense.
the shaman comes back later, I'd be fine with that.
Maybe him and Papa Midnight are going to be friends.
Also, real bummed that Chaz was again like why is Chaz? They don't know what to do with Chaz.
No, they don't.
Where'd he go?
He shows up every once in a
to
while.
fix the cab finally.
Fix the goddamn cab.
Okay.
I don't know. And Zed kind of just accepted it. You pointed that out.
Yeah. Zed was like, no, I cannot forgive you for this. He was okay with it. Okay, then let's go take him inside. Oh, well, okay.
Zed will get better.
I don't think she has a choice.
Yeah, probably not.
You want to hang out. He said it straight up. If you want to hang out with me, people die.
Yeah. Yep.
He's completely unapologetic.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for having me, and I'm going to leave so that Mr. Lieberman can take this seat and talk about other shows.
Thank you,
thank you
Trisha,
for
for
coming.
joining us.
Thank
See
you,
you next week
guys.
where we talk about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Bye.
I'm back. I was gone, and now I'm back. We're gonna talk about all the other shows. Gotham was on once again this week. It's still on.
Yes, you and I have differing opinions on how bad it is. We both agree that it is not a good episode of television. However, I think it might be the best episode of Gotham yet, while still also being very not good.
I feel like the show's had better episodes. I feel like the episode where he took the fight to the mob a couple episodes ago with Victor Zsasz was a better one.
Yeah.
I just think if the best part of the episode is Bruce Wayne getting into a food fight
With Cat.
How cool is that?
Selena Kyle.
it's just
Honestly, I really liked that they gave Selena Kyle something to do for once. I liked that she was in the house with Bruce. I feel like that gives Bruce somebody else to play off of.
Yeah.
Him and his relationship with Alfred is by far the best part of the show.
100%.
I love Sean Pertwee's portrayal of Alfred. I like this Alfred is pretty rough around the edges. Him teaching Bruce how to box is real cool. And I thought the actors who play Selena Kyle did better interacting with, I guess because the gap was less definable, she did better with young Bruce Wayne than she normally does. I liked all that. Harvey Dent does not need to be.
I heard
in
he
the
was a
show.
psychopath.
Yeah, you already get some signs, and he flips that coin a lot. In case the audience didn't know who he was, he's all about that coin.
Guess who I'm gonna be?
His very first scene is like, "Listen, kid." He's talking to some random kid we haven't met. "Listen, kid, I'm gonna make you a bet. If you call heads with this, I'll let you go." He's already Two-Face. He's essentially already Two-Face.
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
What was
Yeah.
it on Batman the Animated Series before he even became Two-Face? He had, what was it?
It was Big Bad Harvey.
Big Bad Harvey.
It's been a long time since I've seen the Two-Face
Yeah.
episodes, but I do remember he had some inklings of nastiness.
Before he had a formal snap and separation of his
Yeah.
two personalities, it was still part of it.
Yeah.
And like that was actually pretty cool when he was threatening that guy.
Lovecraft.
When he was
which
threatening
is
Lovecraft.
once again a way too on the nose reference the show is making. But anyway.
Yeah. When he threatened him and he got like real angry, I was like, all right. And just the plot of the episode just felt a little light for me. Just like it just was a little forgettable. and I just find it so strange that all of the cops have just had this immediate about face.
Yeah.
It feels like in the writer's room they were like, oh wow, we screwed up when
really
we
shit the bed on the show.
constructed this show.
Yeah.
We need the cops to be on his side.
I honestly don't know what they could do to do an about face for this show.
They don't have a Captain America. They
Yeah,
don't have a Captain America to change the show.
to change the entire premise. I do know that Barbara Keene is the new Lori from The Walking Dead, who makes completely inane decisions, is just there to be annoying and make bad
And
decisions that make
she'll
the audience
die.
hate her.
She'll die one day.
Yeah.
Probably not, because she's supposed to not die in the comics. But I mean, who knows at this point? Because at the end of the episode, she ran away because she just couldn't. All she could think about was Zaz, and she wanted to be strong for her boyfriend. But since she could, she decided to just leave him. And where does she end up? Right in the arms of Renee Montoya, who, if I can be honest, Renee Montoya is a great character that was introduced in Batman the Animated Series, one of my favorites from the Batman, and they're just turning that character into just shit.
People get really mad at these reviews.
Because we don't
Specifically
like it.
Gotham.
Because
A lot of people
really
like it.
like
They're
the
like,
show.
why do you hate my show?
Listen, I don't mean
bad.
to be rude, but if you've ever seen a good show, then you would know that this is not one of those.
Wow. Look, Penguin had some stuff to do this week. He sniffed some dresses, and he found out Fish Mooney's plan.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
But I just, for me, and I feel like we're just talking about this fantasy land where they reconceived this show differently before
literally.
they put it on.
Exactly. Completely. Because that's the reason why I don't say how it gets better, is because I can't conceive of a better version of the show that does not start from scratch.
Yeah, it's just, I wish that they'd done like 3 or 4 8-episode miniseries that were like skipped chunks in time between when Gordon first came to Gotham and when Batman first arrives, and each one is just a case. A season is one case that is a defining chapter in Gotham's history. That would have been really cool, simple, efficient, character-based storytelling.
Yes, but you would not make as much money with it.
No, you would not.
So I'm just going to rest on the fact that for those of you who like the show and hate the fact that we don't enjoy it as much, I did enjoy the more character-driven moments of this episode. And if they can do a better job defining these characters and who they are, and make them smart and interesting and good to watch, like if they could make Barbara not a horrible pain.
See, I thought that when she left that letter,
better.
I thought when she left that letter that she was actually leaving the show. That was them writing her off the show. And I'm like, brilliant.
Yeah.
You guys are making great decisions.
No, they still need to use her to shit all over the Renee Montoya character.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on to a show that was actually really good this week, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh my God.
One of the best episodes they've ever done.
This is the show that we were promised.
Yes.
This is the show. It was like, you wanted a spy show?
Yeah.
You got a spy
Yeah, it
show.
finally feels
I
like a
wanted
spy
crazy
show.
people. I got crazy people. Crazy, creative people, and awesomely cast.
Yeah.
They're like, even the characters that from the first season that I'm like, God, I don't like these characters, because really, I didn't like Fitz. I didn't like Skye. I didn't like Coulson.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, Coulson's in charge. Fitz fucking knows what he's doing, even though he's fucked up. And Skye is running all like the tech team. She's not trying to figure it out. She knows what she needs to do.
Yeah.
God, it was great. And Skye's dad.
I love that we spanned history this week.
Yeah.
We had some serious flashbacks. It felt like an issue of a comic.
Can I just say Haley Atwell would have made a great Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
she
She
would.
was so good in this episode. That she was that great, like being a powerful woman without like just being that, not trying to pretend to be. Like she was just in authority. I bought her. I do whatever she would tell me to do.
I
and
would
it's just
too.
like shit. I wish she would have been a good one. Anyway,
She would have. But yeah, Kyle MacLachlan as the Doctor, which is super confusing. That's to say.
I'm going to call him the dad.
Okay,
the dad.
As the dad
Dr.
is
Dad.
super. He's doing a very specific kind of like calm but unhinged. That's really interesting to watch and is very different for him because he's played a lot of crazy guys.
Yeah, he's my favorite part of the show right now.
Oh my
Him
God.
and Fitz. Fitz had the best line of the episode. Like, I can do it in 7.5 minutes. Oh, that's not good enough. Oh, that's with my bad hand. If with my good hand, I can totally do it.
Yeah.
And with what was he saying? He's talking to Coulson, trying to like help Trip, and he's like, "Oh, gotta be focused, Phil." Shoot, I'm not supposed to say your name yet.
That scene, and we'll get to it in a minute, but my favorite scene in this episode of S.H.I.E.L.D. and in The Flash both involve two father figures having it out. That sequence with him was so, just the way he directed the conversation and the highs and lows of it was great.
Because it kind of snapped you out of it, like out of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into like a bigger Marvel world and then back into it. Like, he's like, Tesseract level power? Sure. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. I also just love how focused the show has become.
Yep.
We have our villains very clearly defined. They're all together.
Yep.
There's a lot of intrigue. Every character on this show, with the exception of Trip, which is really sad, has something to do.
I also find it really interesting that the 3 villains are clearly all out for themselves. Whitehall's kind of boring as the main villain,
He became more interesting this episode.
But the dad,
Yeah.
is out to. You can just tell by that look. I want to kill you, Whitehall, and I'm going to kill you, Coulson. Probably going to kill Skye because I'll be reunited with her in the afterlife. Like he just wants to just kill everybody. And then Ward. I honestly, I think this is the best Ward episode we've ever had.
Because he wasn't too crazy.
Yeah.
It was just like, he's insane. He's an insane
He's
person.
bonkers.
But it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna like eat my toenails and
No.
like claw at the walls. It's like, oh, I'm gonna like systematically get my brother to confess to something and then kill him and frame him for it. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
When were you this smart before?
But that's the thing. He always was, but he was so committed to Garrett that he didn't actually do any of the things he wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think that his experiences in the back half of season 1 have changed him utterly. I don't think he's crazy. I don't think he's crazy. I think he's somebody who has had a really shitty life.
Yes.
He's been fucked over for a long time. Everyone that he loves hates him. So he is going to retroactively right the wrongs of his past, granted through violence.
Yeah.
And now he's positioned himself with the bad guys so that he can someday prove to Skye that he really is so good. Skye, I never lied to you, Skye. Oh, I never lied to you.
Oh man.
I want to see the confrontation between Dad and Ward
Yeah.
because he's fucked over Skye a lot, and I want to see how like he will snap at it. Like,
And he's
gonna be
also
calm.
fucked
Yeah.
Skye, probably.
Well, and then the other thing I'm interested in is I
come
was
back.
feeling like a real smartass at the end of the video because like if it's on planet Earth, we'll find it. And I'm like, funny thing about ATTN, it's on the moon.
Really?
In the comics, ATTN traditionally is on the moon, but they found something.
Yeah.
Found something,
They
and I
found
love that was a great
something.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we already found it?
Yeah.
Like, wait. Oh,
What?
Yeah, I thought this was
No.
going to be the season finale was
Yeah.
we get to this city.
Which is
The
what I was
mid-season
sitting there
finale
going, they
is.
can't. There's no way that they can just find it right now. Oh, that's because. And then I remembered traditionally in the comics, ATTN's on the moon, and then they found it. I was like, oh shit, I don't know what's happening now.
Fuck. The mid-season, I'm feeling like that's when they're gonna get to it,
Yes.
and I love how quickly the season is going. It feels almost a little too quick because I don't know what they're gonna do for the next half of the season. There's still like 12 more episodes to go
Yeah.
after this. It was still probably the same storyline, and last season was just the dumbest story being dragged out for 22 episodes.
Well, here's the thing, Sam. The way that they've positioned Agent Carter, and I think this is very interesting, is that it's not even really its own show because Daniel Whitehall was in Agent Carter's possession, was in her care, as it were, throughout that entire period. It's basically everything in Agent Carter is going to inform the back half of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I'm really with all these
bad.
flashbacks to Haley Atwell and everything and Agent Carter. They've done their job. I'm excited for Agent Carter.
Oh,
I did not think I was going to be, but with these flashbacks, I'm excited.
I don't like the ads for Agent Carter.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, don't watch
They
them.
look,
Don't watch
yeah,
them.
they're a little cheesy.
They're
but
very ABC.
Yeah, but she's great, and the cast they've built around her is great. And if it's the same writing staff, I'm excited.
Yeah, the scene when Whitehall ages, when you found out that he did age,
Another
I was
very
like,
creative
whoa.
thing for again, like I was talking about earlier. Like these network shows need more personality stuff like that, and when we're in Coulson's
memory.
mind last week. That's
Super cool.
more of that, please. That was good.
And the actress who played, I feel like she's Skye's mom.
Yes.
It is Skye's mom.
It is
yeah,
Skye's
she's
mom?
Dai Chen
Okay.
Lockman
Yeah, she was
from Dollhouse.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's great. She's great. She's in Being Human, and she's in the 100. You guys don't watch those shows. She was great in them. But
I was surprised how little they used her for
Yeah.
her little appearance.
yeah, she's really big. But she'll probably be in flashbacks.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, hopefully she will be because she's
I don't know,
great.
she's already dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe she'll be an Agent Carter. Who knows?
How the hell did they make him age backwards? With like, oh, we just used every part of her.
Well, that's the thing.
We don't
I'm not gonna
really
poke
know.
holes in that.
Yeah.
The fact is, we don't know, and that's what I like about it. Is we're gonna find out at some point what part of them controls their aging.
And was it because she touched it? No, or is it
I
just
think
that
she was
because she's
already immortal.
She was already whatever it is, inhuman. So let's go on to the Flash now.
it's such a good episode.
Yeah, it was the Flash is born. We've officially done away with the streak. Thank goodness.
Thank goodness we didn't need another The Hood for the whole first
season. Yeah, so I'm glad he's officially the Flash. We got another semi-classic. He's actually a little more recent, created by Jeff Johns, Girder, which I like the way they used him this episode. I personally thought he looked a little too clean. In the comics, Girder looks more like the training robot he had him fight, where there's like rivets and rusted metal.
He looks like a robot.
It made him look more unique.
He looks a lot like Colossus in the movies.
Yes.
But it was a great episode. I loved it. I liked the flashbacks with
Barry and Joe.
Yeah. Iris became way more interesting. So did Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie I actually liked a lot in this episode.
Best episode for Eddie and
Iris wasn't annoying.
By far, though, the best scene, again, talking about those father figure dynamics, was when Joe went to confront Harrison Wells. That was the best scene, I think, on the entire series so far.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't start like a confrontation. They're just chilling. You're kind of wondering, like, didn't we just have this scene?
Yeah.
Like, didn't we just have this scene in the lab? And then Harrison Wells figures out what's going on, and the whole dynamic shifts. He's basically, are you accusing me?
But I think it's important. It's important that they have that scene now because the audience is smart enough, especially because we see it in the last scene of every episode that he's suspicious. It's important that we know that Joe is smart enough to see it too.
Yes.
And
He's the smartest guy in the show.
Exactly.
He is, by far.
So we need to cast some doubt on it right now, so that, or at least like explore it a little bit.
Yeah.
Just to keep our mouths watering and to not make us be like, why does no one notice this guy is real creepy?
Cisco kind of noticed it when he was like, don't you ever
I would like
Barry again.
I would like to see Cisco and Joe team up.
Yeah?
I feel like that'd be a cool dynamic. They're so different personality-wise. I feel like they bounce off each
He would
other real
frustrate Joe so much.
So much.
Yeah.
Joe is so good. He's just the perfect dynamic that this show needs.
Yeah, he's not a character in the comics, right?
He's not around because in the comics typically everybody's an adult. So
he's
knowing the way
great.
comics go, he's probably super dead by the time.
I like that Girder was a character from Barry's past. I think that,
bully. Yeah.
I think that made it really, really nice. It's good storytelling. You learn more about your character by their relationship to the people that they're fighting, and I'm glad that they're teaching Barry how to fight. So Barry lands a supersonic punch on Girder, and then Iris just comes up and punches him and is fine.
It's kind of like knocking a diamond at the right spot. It'll shatter.
Yeah, I think the point was supposed to be that if you hit him with that thing, it'll mess up his powers, basically his molecular structure, whatever. And so he couldn't do the whole iron thing when Iris hit him. And I thought that was good because I don't need a damsel in distress every week. And again, because this is what they need to do with Laurel. The fact that we don't like Iris, if you give characters moments where they're badass, you like them better. Exactly. So Iris got a moment when she's a kid and she kind of kicks Barry's ass. Yeah. And then she gives Girder the final punch, made her more likable. Her interactions with Barry as the Flash made her more likable. It's a little bit weird that all of our fears about Iris reporting on the Flash come true and nobody really comments on it. A villain does find her, does kidnap her,
and she's still doing it. Nothing. No.
What did we think about the last scene?
The last scene with
Joe, with the evidence thing.
I thought that was real
scared
cool.
a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, if they kill Joe right now, I might
think
not
the whole
keep
audience
watching.
is feeling the same way. They're like, you're gonna kill off this guy at some point, and no one's gonna watch anymore.
Yeah, he's the best part of the show.
What I like about it, especially, is that Reverse Flash is a real threat.
Yeah,
is a real threat. We're pretty sure it's Harrison.
I'm actually hoping. See in the comics, the character known as Reverse Flash is also called Professor Zoom, and I think they're kind of separating Professor Zoom from Reverse Flash. And I'm hoping that Harrison Wells is Professor Zoom and Eddie Thawne is Reverse Flash, because it doesn't make a lot of sense now that Harrison Wells has successfully thrown Joe off his trail for them to go back and then threaten Joe's daughter. So I'm hoping maybe there's
like Harrison Wells and Reverse Flash are in cahoots.
But why would Reverse Flash date Iris and then threaten Iris's life? It doesn't make sense.
Because he wants to. Also, it would kind of make sense for him to date Iris because one of the big things with Reverse Flash is not he's a crazy fanboy, which we get a little bit more of that in Arrow this week. But he's a crazy fanboy to the point where he wants to be the Flash. So
of course he would date the love of the Flash's life.
Oh, yeah, which.
Ooh.
Yeah, could be really creepy.
Very
could be
interesting.
really creepy. But speaking of crazy ass fan people,
let's talk about Arrow.
Yes.
And Cupid,
Cupid,
whose introduction was very divisive last week.
I thought it was fun.
Stupid.
I thought it was fun.
Please stop.
Only thing I could say about Cupid is at least she was not as bad as Plastique in last episode of The Flash.
I will always remember how bad she is. Oh my god.
She is not
Not
the
a greatest
actress.
actress.
When
But-
you're not in a... Sorry, continue.
See, but I really liked the fact that she was crazy made that line make so much more sense to me.
Yeah. She was real crazy.
Real
crazy.
crazy.
Real pretty.
Yeah.
And real crazy. And she was trained, which I like that too.
Second-
Yeah,
wasn't
she was
just
part
a
of SWAT.
random
She was like the
fangirl.
first. Yeah, she was the
a
first
SWAT, yeah.
woman SWAT member. In Star
Man,
Wars.
They
that's
teach
that
SWAT
good
people with
crazy.
bows and
I
arrows,
would,
apparently.
I
Yeah.
just I like.
What's going on with you right
I
now?
like
What's
crazy
going on over
women.
here? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And she's a part of the Suicide Squad now, which just makes me want another Suicide Squad episode better. I like the little reference that, like, apparently the last woman they had on the Suicide Squad was a lot crazier. Harley Quinn.
Yay!
Oh, bring it back! Come on! They got the voice from Tara Strong. Sarah Strong.
Tara Strong.
Tara Strong. Thank
Yeah.
you. That was really cool.
We got to tease the
Tease
Atom
of the
suit.
Iron Man suit in DC world because that's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like. I also don't think we need. If your ability is to shrink to microscopic levels, you can just call yourself the Atom. It doesn't need to be an acronym for something. Like
No,
calling yourself the Atom makes sense.
CW Police, okay, that is way too cheesy. I mean, this is a show where we have heart-shaped arrows and a lot of other weird stuff and tons of relationship subplots this week.
Oh my gosh!
Too many.
The worst. I think the worst subplot in Arrow since season 1 has to be this whatever the fuck is going on with the DJ subplot.
Yeah, wait, but I love
the DJ? Oh, shit, that was so
the
stupid.
famous Green Arrow storyline, the DJ that came to town, who transforms the entire club with the power of his music.
It was so painful because they did such a good job of making Thea so much more interesting in season 2, and it just feels like a big regression back to season 1.
Just for this episode though.
Yeah.
She's better than the other episodes.
But-
we can forgive this.
Can I just say though, and maybe I'm reading too much into it because I just want this show to be the best version of itself.
Yeah.
Maybe he's some kind of villain something
Yeah,
with his
possible.
because
With audio.
the music, it wasn't that much better than the other music, but as soon as he started playing it, everyone started losing their mind.
You know what? You know what would be real fun is there's a Flash villain called Pied Piper. It'd be great if he was the Pied Piper.
Right?
Oh, no, like
That was so ridiculous. It was a cool, like we talk about having those personality shots. It was cool the way the camera pulled back in the audience, but the way everybody just suddenly was like, great! And they just started like they were Peanuts extras.
white people dancing.
Yeah, it was
so dumb.
That was real rough.
Yeah.
Remember, kids, Arrow is hip.
Yeah.
So they're gonna play hip songs.
Yeah.
How about those ratings boost
Yeah,
back?
honestly, I think this might have been my least favorite episode this season.
That's
Not that it was altogether bad. I just
Yeah.
feel like it might have been the weakest.
Can we talk
It was
about-
weak. It
Yeah.
was definitely weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Oliver and Felicity and Ray in this triangle?
I really want to see Ray and Felicity bang. By the way, I need to mention that it's funny to me that the guy whose power is to shrink real small is easily the tallest person on the show. Because I don't need to see Oliver and Felicity be a thing.
Why?
Yeah. Also, why the
want
fuck
them
is,
together.
Why is everyone doing the salmon ladder? Everybody has that goddamn the bar thing when they like. Why does everybody have that? Every
want the
rich
show
guy
to
has this.
I want the show to finally introduce Bruce Wayne and then
And
introduce him.
he's doing it up a mountain.
Yeah, exactly. We know it's Bruce Wayne because he does the salmon ladder in like half the time as everybody.
Exactly.
He makes
when
everybody
he lifts
else-
he lifts it up 3 at a
Yes.
time.
And Superman
True.
shows up. He's like, guys, and he flies to
And
the
he just
top
flies to the top and just drops it.
Yeah,
we
that's-
get it.
that's
It's cool.
The first
Yeah.
time we see Superman and Batman together on the show, they're both doing the same ladder, trying to one up each other. But I do like what that generates with Felicity going like, I have a type.
of it. Yeah,
that was
I
funny.
That
like
was funny.
rich, smart men who with the salmon.
Yeah, and I, the whole scene with her dinner. I'm fine. I liked that romantic subplot more than Thea's romantic subplot by far. But I also liked the whole mining thing. I was like, I also like that he's going to use it for good.
Yeah.
Great. That's really not specific. Could
Yeah.
you tell me more about what you're
Yeah,
gonna
it's
use
a
it for?
business transaction.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm gonna lend this to
Right,
you. It's like you gotta tell
Now,
me why I should give it to him.
What
But
else
it's going to be
could the-
dwarf star material,
Right.
which is.
Dwarf star material?
Yeah.
What world are we living in?
The world where a guy can run faster than the speed of sound.
But I want to know the
Faster
dwarf
than
star
time.
material. What is he going to use? He's using it for the Atom
Become
suit.
Adam. Yep.
But is there any reason that it's bad that's going to come from that? Because I
I
feel
hope
like it's
not.
not the
Okay,
greatest
but
thing.
what was the army thing he was looking up in the other episodes? Argus.
Omek.
He wasn't
Omek,
looking-
Omek, sorry, yeah, Omek.
Yeah.
But he's looking at that and like he's building the suit, and it's like it seems like he might be maybe a little bit of a villain.
I just think the idea of introducing Adam and making him not quite squeaky clean is kind of cool.
He's definitely not quite. I like that he's kind of this. That he's kind
mysterious.
of an asshole.
Yeah.
He's an asshole, but like he's so
still a
sweet.
good person. Well, and see, that's the thing. I think that's the one problem that the Flash kind of has is Oliver is a good person, but he's not perfect, especially in the earlier seasons. Barry is kind
Murders
of like
a lot of
a
people.
straight up good person. There's not a lot. He's just a good guy.
Yeah.
I like that again. We were introducing to Adam, and he has stuff he needs to learn. I really cannot wait to see these guys form their own de facto Justice League because the way their personalities will play off each other will be great.
Yeah.
God, if they have a TV Justice League with these guys in there, and then you throw in your main guys, it'd be real good. It'd
be
real
cool.
good. Flash is great together. Flash and Arrow are great together.
Where we
in
get the
scenes.
first hints of their team up with Captain Boomerang at the end of this episode.
Oh, that was actually a lot cooler than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like their
Boomerang was
Captain
cool.
Boomerang. He's not
Yeah.
playing it too over the top.
Besides that
He's-
one line.
It always comes back.
Yeah.
on. One-liner, one-liner,
Yeah.
one-liner.
I'm Cupid.
I just
stupid.
love the Asian guy who's just sort of like, whew, missed it. Oh man, what was that? Some kind of like curved blade throw?
Yeah, Owen was watching
great
it with us.
that it's not a boomerang.
Yeah, he's commenting on like, apparently this guy doesn't know what boomerangs are.
Apparently not.
All right, guys, it's time for my pull list. Next week is Thanksgiving, all right? So it's a little bit of a lighter week. I hope you enjoy your holiday. We actually probably won't be here next week because when we normally film this,
It'll be on Thanksgiving.
We'll be on our break.
Yep.
And a lot of shows are off the air.
Yeah,
next
so it's
week.
fine. But if you do go to the comic shop next week, what I would recommend checking out is Superman 36. Jeff Johns, John Romita Jr., in his first ever DC story has been this
wow.
arc on Superman. The last 3 issues have been really solid. Jeff Johns is just, he's DC's top dog.
Yeah.
And he does a good job with the Superman character.
And he's
it's-
writing on the Flash, right?
He's one of the co-creators of the Flash TV show. So I highly recommend you check that out. Also, at Valiant Comics, they're releasing Delinquents #4. It's a team up of my 4 favorite Valiant characters. You got Quantum and Woody and Archer and Armstrong. They are the worst superheroes ever.
Right.
And so watching them join forces is comedic gold.
We got a poll list. We got all of our TV show reviews. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, continue to tell your friends about this show. We love doing it. It is here every single Friday afternoon. Not next week because of Thanksgiving, but we'll be back the following week. I'm Matt Lieberman.
I'm Sam Basher.
And I'm DJ Wooldridge. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, and thanks to Trisha Hirschberger for
Yes.
joining us on Constantine.
And see you next week.
See you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We just undid everything.
And
We
Gotham.
just spent a lot of effort to explaining to them that we're not going to be here next
I
week.
know, but
and
it's
you-
not as bad as Gotham.
Sam, that's
It's never be as bad as Gotham.
Oh, let
So-
everyone know how mad you are at Sam for hating Gotham down in the comments.
I
Yeah,
hope
they
that-
hate you the most for hating Gotham.
I hope that I will never be as bad as Gotham.